time for some fun. Oh, oh my. All right, it's time for fun. It's time for some fun. Let's do next video about Red Bull. Okay. All right. Ask and ye shall receive. Hang on. And you know what? Because you are such good little strays, I'm not even going to do it for 10 minutes. I'm going to do it for the full react for you.
Okay, chat. You can thank Drowner over on Kick. You got, and as a special little bonus for being such good little strays, I'm not going to do it for 10 minutes. I'm going to do it for the entire react. Just for you. Mwah. Just for you, my beautiful strays. So let's learn about Red Bull.
I had no idea that this was the third largest beverage company on the planet.
You didn't? Thank you, Invictus. Thank you for the 5 gifted. And really? Nick didn't realize that Red Bull was the third largest? Well, okay. If he's including like Coke and Pepsi, okay, then that actually makes a little bit of sense.
Today we're talking about Red Bull. Why are we looking into energy drinks? 1, because I drink energy drinks and I like them. And 2, I actually own part of an energy drink company, Echelon, and I decided, you know, if I want my energy drink company to be successful, I should probably look at what all the other successful companies are doing so I can replicate it or improve upon it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I almost skipped right past Red Bull, went straight to Monster because, well, honestly, I don't really like Red Bull. I think it tastes like cough syrup. It's got way too much sugar in it. I don't like their tiny little cans. You guys have seen my wife. I'm an Arizona tea-size can kind of guy.
That means 2 things.
Until I did the research for this video, I was thoroughly convinced the only reason Red Bull was still in business was because it tastes good mixed with vodka, and the only reason people think it tastes good mixed with vodka is because it's the only option of energy drink any bar ever has. But then the voice in the back of my head is like, wait a minute, why is Red Bull the only option at every bar ever? Like, how come bars aren't offering like White Monster or Cherry Lime Ghost or Echelon or any other energy drink that tastes 1,000 times better? And then also, how come every gas station I've ever been to has an entire, you know, like door dedicated almost exclusively to Red Bull?
Not even a door. There are most gas stations actually have a full-on cooler branded. Most gas stations actually have a full-on branded cooler separate from everything else specifically for Red Bull. When I used to work at a gas station back when I was in Newfoundland, we actually had a standalone branded cooler specifically for Red Bull and Red Bull alone. Plus, the Red Bulls were actually in the in the coolers where all the rest of the beverages were. So Red Bull actually had purchased 2 individual slots in the gas station for their product. One with all the rest of the cold beverages and its own standalone branded cooler.
Bull, while all the other energy drinks have to share shelf space. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm living in a bubble. Maybe Red Bull's way more popular than I think it is. And boy, is it, because they have 43% of the global market share for energy drinks. To put that into perspective, they sold almost 14 billion cans of Red Bull last year. Okay, do you understand how big of a number 14 billion is? That's 200,000 tons of aluminum just for the cans alone. Okay, that's like 440 million pounds of aluminum every single year just in Red Bull cans. Okay, I'm just yelling big numbers at this point. To put it into perspective, the Iowa class battleships, the biggest battleship America's ever created, is 57,000 tons. You're putting out Red Bull cans equivalent to 4 of the largest battleships ever fucking made every single year. year. So yeah, they're way
Screw
more popular than I
this.
thought, and we're gonna get into it right after a word from our sponsor.
And
This video
yeah,
is brought to you by Henson's Shaving. Okay, look, they've sponsored
Oh,
the channel
he's not
before, and
doing
every single
Henson.
time I get comments, why is the guy with the beard recommending a shaving product? Okay, I have to separate the face hair from the chest hair at some point, okay? There is some amount of shaving going on. And for that shaving, I use Henson's. Why? Because they sent me one for free 3 years ago and paid me a bunch of money to do ads for them. Obviously, you weren't expecting a YouTuber to be upfront about it, were you?
Nope.
But also, I wouldn't be doing the ads if I didn't like the company, so why do I like the company? The product's cool. It looks cool, and it works. what else do you want from a razor? Oh, also, it's way cheaper than everything else on the market. It doesn't seem like it at first because the razor itself is $79.99. It's machined out of aircraft-grade aluminum, but once you buy it, you're done. It's gonna last you the rest of your life, and then the only thing you ever have to buy again to keep shaving is actual shaving safety razors, and that's it. You can get them from anywhere. All the safety razors fit. You don't have to buy their special proprietary ones, and it's like one box is $5, and it's lasted me 3 years. I haven't even got through my first box yet. Every other shaving company is like, oh, we buy our special handle, and then we have these click cartridges that go on top, and on the click cartridge, there's 17 different smaller razor blades, and there's this gel pad that gums up after 2 fucking uses, and by the way, it's 5 cartridges. It's like $30. It'll last you about a month. So you can basically spend like $30 to $40 a month on shaving stuff, or you could just pony up one time, buy the thing you need, and then you could shave for the rest of your life. That's it. That's the ad. Buy nice shit, buy it once, use it for the rest of your life. I'll have a link in the description down below. Back to the video. All right, let's take it from the top. 1976, Thailand. There's this guy by the name of Chaleo Yovuda. He grew up in rural Thailand as the son of a duck farmer, which I didn't know was a thing, but whatever. Anyways, he grows up. He decides he doesn't want to be a duck farmer forever, so he moves down to the big city of Bangkok, the capital of Thailand. While there, he works as a bus driver and a pharmaceutical salesperson, and then eventually opens up his own pharmaceutical company called TC Pharmaceuticals. They basically import cosmetics and antibiotics. And in 1976, he decides he wants to create his own energy tonic, which is a popular product in Asia at this point in time, not really popular or well known anywhere else in the world. Basically, it's like the predecessor to what we know as an energy drink today. It's these little shots that you can buy at the pharmacy. They've got caffeine, taurine, B vitamins, all the shit that's in.
So this man was the progenitor of the 5-hour energy drink. Because it sounds like that's what this is. This is basically a 5-hour energy drink. And he was the progenitor of it. Interesting.
In a normal energy drink, you go to the pharmacy, you buy it, you drink it. It's like drinking an energy drink. Buh! I heard they put bull cum in it too. Buh! No, they did not.
Only for flavor. That was the most unhinged keyboard warrior break I've ever fucking heard, and I love it. It reminds me of the Lewis Black joke about sunscreen, where he's like, you read the label of sunscreen. I've never seen those words anywhere. It could be zebra cum. The sun comes out and I gotta put this on shit on my face.
Put bull semen in the Red Bull, okay? It's an internet myth. The whole myth comes from the word taurine, which is in like every energy drink ever. Taurine refers to the word Taurus, like a bull, and everybody's like, oh, it must obviously mean bull semen. No, it's literally just a derivative of red meat, okay? You get taurine from eating a steak. They just extract it and they put it inside the energy drink, okay? It's not that. Moving on.
I assumed there was semen on everything.
So he ends up making his own. He calls it Krating Dang, which is Thai for red gore, and a gore is like this type of bull-looking animal they have over in Thailand. It's like a symbol of strength. And from here, he just starts selling his product. He's a pharmaceutical rep. It's an easy layup for him, right? Oh, you want to buy this new energy tonic too? Great, here you go. And he's selling it to all these pharmacies. And then he decides, you know what? People that are shopping at pharmacies don't really need energy drinks. The people that need this are people like my parents, the farmers, the people like me when I was being a bus driver, like blue-collar people that are actually working for a living are the people that need this product. I need to market it towards them. So he starts marketing to the blue-collar workforce, and the main way he does this is by sponsoring Muay Thai fights, which is like the biggest sport in Thailand. It's like sponsoring the NFL in America. And
sponsoring the UFC in America? I'm just saying, the parallel is right fucking there. Muay Thai, UFC. Come on, Nick. It's like granted, NFL is probably more popular than UFC, so I get where he's coming from, but I'm just saying, like, the comparison, like Muay Thai, UFC. I just wanted the comparison there.
pretty soon he goes from selling his product inside of pharmacies to selling his product in pretty much every convenience store type location. I mean, they don't really have gas stations back then in Thailand like America has gas stations, but think of like roadside mom and pop shops where you'd buy like food, water, drinks, stuff like that. Anything you would need, there's Krating Dang there right by the register. Okay, it's kind of like those weird gas station boner pills that you see at truck stops. Don't give that look. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They've got like the one pill in the package with like a rhino charging at you and like an explosion in the background. It's like, be bigger, harder, for longer. Bleh. Okay, and then right next to that, there's Krating Dang, an energy tonic with two giant Red Bulls headbutting each other. Like it's one of those. But Krating Dang actually becomes outrageously popular and is being sold all over Thailand because again, Chaleo tapped into a market that nobody else was targeting, blue collar, hardworking people that actually needed a product like this. Fast forward to 1984, an Austrian businessman by the name of Dietrich Dietrich, his name's Dietrich.
Wait, hang on.
Austrian businessman by the name of Dietrich
Matschwitz. Dietrich Matschwitz. Sounds like he made Matschwitz? Wondering if that's Jewish. That looks Jewish. German Jewish? Maybe? Yeah. Dietrich Matschwitz.
Matchowitz, Dietrich, his name's Dietrich.
You say your name right now.
He's a marketing guy for some big company. He flies into Thailand for a business meeting. He's got jet lag, so before his business meeting, he stops at a convenience store, sees this energy tonic that's supposed to, you know, give you a little pick-me-up, decides to drink it. It cures his jet lag. He absolutely loves it. Problem is, they don't have products like this anywhere in Europe where he's from. And he's a marketing guy. He sees the potential. So he ends up going to Chaleo and like, hey, we need to start a new company and start marketing this to Europe and the United States of America. People in the West would absolutely love this shit. So they end up working out a deal. Chaleo can keep Krating Dang. That's his own company. That's his thing. That's what they're going to sell in Asia. But they're going to start a new company to market this product in Europe and the United States of America. And nobody knows what the fuck a gore is in those places. So they're going to rename it to Bull. And they create what we know today as Red Bull. 49% owned by Chaleo, 49% owned by Dietrich, and 2% owned by Chaleo's son.
You guys are getting paid?
Dietrich then takes Krating Dang back over to Europe for product testing, and people do not like it. Okay, it's not very good. It's literally like medicine at this point in time. So they refine the formula, they add some sugar, they carbonate it, they make it more like a beverage, and then they send it back into product testing, and it does okay. Okay, this is the same flavor of Red Bull.
I've tried like Red Bull and Monster before. Disgusting. I vehemently dislike the flavors of Red Bull, Monster, all those energy drinks. I've tried several of them and do not like. I didn't like Monster. I thought it did not taste good at all, and I stay away from them all. The Mountain Dew energy drink version, yeah, I didn't like that either. I've tried several of them. Monster, Red Bull, Mountain Dew's energy drink, Coke came out with an energy drink. I've never liked any of them. They taste disgusting. I'm good. I'm gonna stick with my coffee and my gamer subs. Yes, code gamer subs. Use code. I don't have code, so use code
to the delicious and refreshing taste of GamerSup's energy drinks.
Yes.
Wink, wink.
Which I'm drinking right now. I'm actually drinking my black cherry gamer subs tonight. So don't forget, please make sure you pick up yours. I don't have the code, so I'll just say use code Kitsu. Well, you use Kitsu's code. Give her the credit. So use code TITSU on your Gamer Subs energy drink because I don't actually have a code yet. Wink, wink. Hi, Gamer Subs. I don't have a code yet, and I have a lot of thirsty strays. Wink, wink. You know, if I had a code, then I could promote my code to my strays to buy lots of gamer subs. I'm just saying.
We have today, right? Like it's not good. And I'm assuming it's because flavor science back in like the 1980s wasn't that great. Like energy drinks today, they taste exactly like Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish or anything that you can have a flavor for. They somehow managed to make that liquid taste like that. Like you could have a Doritos flavored energy drink if that's what you really wanted in 2026. And then you have like Red Bull, the OG energy drink, and it tastes like Red Bull. Like there's no even identifiable flavor that it kind of tastes like. It tastes like sweet chemicals.
Kerosene is fuel, Brian.
Okay, Nora Borealis, I'm not going to ban you. Fuck Advanced GG. Okay, the people that they work with, they fuck them over 10 ways to Tuesday. Rev and Straub are not the only ones that Advanced GG fucked over. There's other content creators that they've also fucked over. So fuck that company. It's going under. I'm just waiting to just dance on the ashes.
Flavor that it kind of tastes like. It tastes like sweet chemicals.
Kerosene is fuel, Brian. Red Bull is fuel. Kerosene is Red Bull. See, Brian? I feel
Oh,
great.
God.
Now, to most people, you'd be like, okay, well, let's figure out how to make it taste better so people will want to drink it. But Dietrich, being a mad genius, is like, no, no, no. Tasting like shit is actually a strength, because then if it tastes like medicine, people will know that it actually works. Which is one of those things where it's like, it's so stupid that it's actually brilliant.
Yeah, he's not wrong. He's literally tapping into the dumbassery susceptibility of society. If you say it tastes like crap because it's actually doing great things for you, they'll legit believe it. I remember once upon a time seeing like when I'm going to, going through like old commercials, when I was like just, when I pull up a YouTube video and just look at old commercials. There was a commercial for Listerine back in the day, and it was a grandfather and his grandson. And they were they were like doing a morning routine. The grandfather was like shaving, and then he splashes on some aftershave, and like makes a wincing face. And the grandson, like sort of like a little 5-year-old boy, looks up at him in confusion. The grandfather's like, "If it burns, it's working." And then they're brushing their teeth, and he grabs the Listerine. And this is back when Listerine typically had like alcohol in it, so when you use Listerine, it kind of burned. And so he grabs the Listerine, pours himself like a capful of it to do his rinse, and he goes, "If it burns, it's working." And he takes the Listerine, but this is when they came out the non-alcoholic Listerine. But that taps into the concept of, where if you plant the idea of, well, if it causes a little bit of pain, that means it's doing good things for you, because you have to accept a little bit of pain in order to get the positive benefit. So it's tapping into that conditioning zeitgeist of the American consumer. Yeah. So he's got to bang on for that. And thank you for the dono and Grumpy. Oh, that's your new name. Oh, well, thank you, formerly Grumpy, now Invictus. Thank you for the dono. Thank you very much.
Because that's exactly what a lot of people are going to think. Like, I know so many people that are like, no, no, no. If it sucks to do, it must be good for me. Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that Red Bull is like the craft beer of the energy drink world. Okay, we've all been around these craft beer people where you like go to the brewery with them and they're like, oh, do you like IPAs? Do you like sours? And you're like, I have no idea, dude. I just like beer. Just whatever you recommend, that's what I'll try. And then they order you what they supposedly like, and they hand it to you. It doesn't even look like beer. It looks like a potion that some wizard just made in the back. It's all thick and foamy and shit. It's always got some stupid name like, okay, this is my favorite IPA.
It's sour meat unicorns farts. I love it. I'll take one. I want to try I want a unicorn to fart in my mouth.
Purple unicorn muffin tops. Then you take a smell of it and it smells like grass clippings and regret, and you're like, you don't want to be rude, so you try this guy's good beer and it tastes like you dissolved a pine cone in acetone. It's horrible. And then they get all smug and arrogant like, oh, you don't like it? Can you not handle the hoppiness? You don't like the bitterness of it? Maybe your palate's just not refined enough. Like, no, fuck off. That tastes like carbonated tree bark. You know that tastes horrible.
This tastes like somebody poured it for an old boot. Actually, it's a sneaker.
Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyways, Red Bull is supposed to taste bad. Like, it's part of the marketing strategy. And from here, Dietrich really turns on the marketing genius, because he's like, you know what would pair perfectly with, we've designed it to taste bad so people know that it works? If we combined it with being a luxury product. Krating Dang was marketed to, blue-collar, hardworking people. It was sold for fairly cheap. So Dietrich is going to take basically a carbonated version with more sugar of the same product. He's going to put it in a slimmer, fancy, prettier can, and he's going to market it to rich people instead and jack the price through the roof. Okay, I'm going off the rails again. I'm sorry. It's IPAs. It's literally a carbon copy of the IPA business model, even though Red Bull did it first. Like, literally, IPAs, you could go to the liquor store, buy a 30 rack of Busch Light, Miller Light, Coors Light, whatever beer you want, or counteroffer, you could buy a 4-pack of IPAs that have a pretty can and a quirky name and taste like shit for.
By the way, God, that's, oh, let me back up. That's a terrible pause. Sorry, Nick, I didn't mean to pause one. I literally paused Nick on Derpface. I had to correct that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to leave Nick on Derpface while I talk. No, he's tapping into the societal zeitgeist of if it looks pretty, it must be great. How often do we see that even now? That if a product is a shitty product, but if it looks really pretty, you're more inclined to think pretty equals good. We see that all over the place, even now. That's kind of why I said, you get like the actual, like tools, like you see tools or something like that. And like, you as a non-knowledgeable consumer get the pretty one. I like the one that looks pretty. I like the one that looks techy, like is really high tech and it's got lots of buzzwords on the labeling. And that's like, surely this must be good. And then you get to professionals in the field and they've got old, beat up, ugly as sin tools that they've had for 30 fucking years because they were made to withstand the motherfucking apocalypse. So that's what I'm saying.
You
even
need to try
today.
the Hard Mountain Dew. The Baja Blast flavor one is goated.
No, I tried the Hard Mountain Dew. It sucks. But that's what I'm talking about. Where pretty doesn't they make these things pretty to tap into the social zeitgeist of if it's pretty, it must be good. If it looks like there's a lot of if it looks like a great deal of technology went into creating this product, it must be better than the plain, boring product that will outlast the cockroaches after the bombs drop. Red Bull's basically doing the same thing.
Pack of IPAs that have a pretty can and a quirky name and taste like shit for 3 times the price. But hey, you get to pretend like you're sophisticated and better than everybody else, so it's worth it. I'm sorry, I really don't like IPAs, if you guys can't tell. Moving on. Anyways, Dietrich jacks the price up. It costs like 9 cents to manufacture a can of Red Bull. They're selling anywhere from $3 to $6 a can, depending on size. Now remember, we're trying to sell this to rich people. We're trying to be a luxury item. Where do we go to target rich people? So they start selling this stuff at ski resorts. And around the same time in the late 1980s, there was this other thing going on at ski resorts. It was like this cultural revolution around ski resorts. Snowboarding. It was like the skater rebellious version of skiing that was for more like grungy, less hoity-toity people. And you know who fucking loved Red Bull and energy drinks? It was all the snowboarders. And Red Bull geniusly recognized this, right? Because sponsoring already established mainstream athletics is extremely expensive, but here's this other new up-and-coming sport that we think is gonna be big, and they already love our product. We're gonna start investing in that instead. So Red Bull starts sponsoring a bunch of snowboarders, and then that expands out into all the other extreme sports like skateboarding and BMX, and then it turns into Red Bull's just sponsoring anything that's like that high adrenaline junkie type stuff that you see on the internet, like jumping out of planes in a squirrel suit, or like racing a car down a mountain really fast, like anything
racing a plane
where you're like, holy shit, how does somebody get that good at doing that without dying? Red Bull's sponsoring that now. Then Red Bull realizes like, okay, this demographic is almost exclusively like young men, so that's our demographic. That's who we're going to target. We're going to target young dudes that want to be amped up.
I'm maybe that's coming later in the video, but like this, don't forget there's also that Red Bull literal speed plane racing. That is like a big thing that they do every year. He may talk about it a little bit later in this video. Like they literally do like I forget what it's called, like an aerial racing slalom, where they literally take these small supercharged prop-driven airplanes and they have stunt pilots actually like flying a fucking slalom through a course to try and basically do like get the fastest time. That is a Red Bull event. That is I'm pretty sure Red Bull actually created that sport. Yeah, it's literally like a stunt plane slalom. He may talk about that later in this.
Up and do crazy.
Oh, whoops, shit. Uh-oh. My bad. Sorry. And we still haven't gotten to escaping. Well, we still haven't gotten to the best part that I hope he gets to, and I'm gonna actually be quiet about this one. Another certain event. Yeah, that's what I was going. That's where I was aiming at. But I'm gonna let him say it.
Shit, we can't target high schoolers yet because they're not of age, so we're going to target the next best thing, college kids. Red Bull starts going to all the big party colleges in the country and starts finding like the guy that throws all the parties or like the fraternities and just starts giving them cases and cases of Red Bull for free. Like, here, drink this shit. They hired hot college chicks in little Red Bull mini skirts and outfits to walk around college campuses giving out Red Bulls for free out of cooler backpacks.
Okay, this sounds like Jägermeister. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but does not this sound exactly like the same thing Jägermeister did on college campuses? They would send in cases of Jägermeister. They'd send in absolute smoke shows dressed in tight little skirts and tight little tank tops specifically to promote Jaeger. They're working off that same playbook.
He went as far as going to popular events with a lot of people and filling a bunch of the trash cans up completely with empty Red Bull cans, so people would see that and be like, holy shit, that's a popular product, and they would go buy it at the concession stand when they were there. This cost them a ton of money, probably tens if not hundreds of millions of dollars in free product that they just gave out. But it was totally worth it because guess what a bunch of college kids are going to do with free energy drinks? They're going to mix them with alcohol so they can party harder, longer, and this was the birth of the vodka Red Bull, which turned into people going to bars asking for a vodka Red Bull. So naturally, after the bars got asked enough for vodka Red Bulls, they decided they needed to start stocking Red Bull. And that is why bars pretty much exclusively only carry Red Bull and no other energy drinks, because they were the only energy drink around and everybody wanted vodka Red Bulls. So when they started stocking Red Bulls so they can make vodka Red Bulls for everybody, Red Bull made them sign a licensing agreement like, hey, we'll give you this free little Red Bull mini fridge, we'll stock it for you, but here's the deal, you're only allowed to sell Red Bull energy drinks, and everybody agreed to it because at the time, they were the only energy drink around, and all those licensing agreements are still in place, and that's why almost every single bar, at least in the United States of America, just has Red Bull. So from here, Red Bull just becomes outrageously popular. Like, it is the OG energy drink. It's literally the third most profitable beverage company on the planet. It's Coca-Cola, Pepsi, then Red Bull. And if we're being honest, Coca-Cola and Pepsi aren't really competitors with Red Bull because soda and energy drinks are two different things with two completely different markets. So as far as I'm concerned, Red Bull is the
I mean, leave us not forget, if memory serves, Monster is a Coke product, is it not? I'm trying to remember who has Monster. I think that's Coke. And then Pepsi has got, well, okay, you may be talking about at the time. Yeah, you know what? He may be talking about at the time before Coke and Pepsi developed their own energy drinks. So, okay, so we may be talking about before all this. Yeah, like Coke is Monster, Rockstar is Pepsi, but this may be before they came out with those.
Coca-Cola of the energy drink world, and just like Coca-Cola, they also got accused of having cocaine in their drink. Yeah, around this time, Red Bull was getting super popular, obviously very popular with young people, so naturally older people fucking hated it for no apparent reason. They're like, oh, it's bad for you, it's unhealthy. They're lecturing all the youth about it while drinking black coffee and smoking on a cigarette, explaining how it's bad for your heart. And then one of the things they brought up, just trying to pin Red Bull to the wall on anything they could find, was Red Bull had a like organics flavor that was Red Bull Cola, and it tested hot for having cocaine in it. Basically, because it was a cola flavor, they were using coca leaves, you know, Coca-Cola. They were using coca leaves. They were decoconized leaves, meaning they didn't have cocaine in them, kind of like decaf coffee doesn't really have caffeine, but there's still like a tiny little itty bitty trace amount of cocaine in the leaves, just like with Coca-Cola. So they went to the table being like, there's cocaine in this.
I swear to God. Swear to me.
Anyways, Red Bull ended up like hiring the scientists, and they're like, you would have to drink like 12,000 cans of Red Bull to actually have that cocaine take effect. Literally, you would OD on every other ingredient in the Red Bull before you ever got a high from that level of cocaine. I believe the official wording was it was a negligible amount of cocaine, which honestly sounds like you went to court with Charlie Sheen as your lawyer, but hey, that's a great name for an energy drink flavor. Like, that should be the official flavor name of Red Bull. Negligible amount of cocaine. So from here, Red Bull spends years and probably a ton of money, like hundreds of millions of dollars in courts, battling with governments. They're getting banned in different countries in Europe, then they get them unbanned, then they end up getting sued because their OG tagline was Red Bull gives you wings, and they got sued because Red Bull doesn't actually give you wings, apparently.
Oh my
I guess they
God.
actually ended up losing the lawsuit because the court said, well, yeah, we didn't actually think it would give us wings, but we thought it would increase our athletic performance, and they couldn't scientifically prove that drinking Red Bull increased the
My
performance,
God,
so they
are
ended up
you
losing the
fucking
lawsuit.
kidding me? Are you kidding me?
But Red Bull comes out the other side bigger, stronger, more popular than ever. And at this point, like I said, they're the third biggest drink company on the planet. They're making billions of dollars a year. And they're like, okay, we've got the whole, you know, young extreme sports thing on lock. We've got the college kids on lock. Now every bar is only allowed to sell Red Bull. Where do we go from here? We're finally ready. We're finally a big enough company. We can start doing those mainstream sporting athletic sponsorships that we were thinking about originally because we can afford it now. Not only can we afford it, we can afford to go a step further. You know what's cooler than sponsoring an athletic team or sponsoring an athlete?
Here we go.
Just buying the fucking team outright. Red Bull just starts buying entire professional sports teams. They have one of the largest and most diverse professional sport team portfolios of any other entity on the planet. They're the only company on the planet that owns 2 F1 teams. They own 6 professional soccer teams, 6 pro hockey teams. They have a pro rugby team. Like, they own everything. And in another stroke of genius, they go a step further with it. Because they're buying multiple sports teams in the same sport, they use one of the sports teams as like their main team with their best talent, and they use the other sports teams as like their reserve where they train people up and get them really good and build them a fan base, and then they eventually migrate up to the top level team. And in doing this, an athlete's pretty likely to end up being like a Red Bull soccer player his entire career, or a Red Bull F1 driver his entire career. So now not only is Red Bull associated with like the team franchise, it'd be like being associated with the Indianapolis Colts. Now instead, every athlete on that team and that athlete's fan base is associated with Red Bull as well. So now Red Bull isn't just to, you know, keep with the analogy, it's not just associated with like the Indianapolis Colts. Now it's associated with Peyton Manning. It's brilliant. They've vertically integrated everything flawlessly. So now not only are they making money selling their energy drinks, they use that money to buy professional sports teams to promote their energy drink, to sell more energy drinks, but also the professional sports teams are really good and they're making money too. Rather than paying to promote their product like every other company on the planet, Red Bull literally figured out how to get paid to promote their product. It's crazy. And then their social media marketing gets even crazier because they're getting paid to do that too. Look at their YouTube channel, 27 million subscribers, and every video has millions, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of views. Okay, inside baseball, there's no like standard base pay for like how much money you get per view if you're big on YouTube. It depends on creator, length of video, what demographic you're in, yada, yada, yada. But the general rule of thumb is every million views is about $5,000. They've got 164 million views on a single video. That's like $820,000 they made to promote their own product. And none of these videos come off as like an advertisement. It's all just crazy people doing crazy shit. Like they're doing parkour in an airport. There's one where they're like driving a 10-ton Red Bull truck down the most dangerous road in the world. There's another one where a dude skydives from outer fucking space. Like they just associated Red Bull with doing crazy cool shit. And they figured out how to get paid every single step of the way because they're not just getting paid for getting 164 million YouTube views. That's 164 million people that just watched an inadvertent Red Bull advertisement and are now going to subconsciously associate Red Bull with doing something awesome. And that's the big takeaway from this. It's branding. Red Bull is not the best tasting energy drink. It's not the healthiest energy drink. There's almost no metric where you can give Red Bull the title of best at anything involving being an energy drink, but they have the best brand. It's not about being the best. It's about being the favorite, which makes complete sense because you have to appeal to human emotion. You have to connect to people to be able to get them to spend money on your product. Think about it like a UFC fighter. You could be the best UFC fighter on the planet. You're undefeated. You finish everybody in the first round. But if you're an unlikable asshole and you don't have any fans, you're not going to get paid a lot of money. You could be a B-tier fighter that goes in there and has entertaining fights. He wins some, he loses some, never becomes a world champion, but he's got a ton of fans because people like him. That guy's going to get paid more money by the UFC because that's how it goes, because he generates more money because he's the favorite. And Red Bull, because of their genius marketing strategy, is the favorite, and that's why they're successful. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch, maybe drink some Echelon. All that's available over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out. I'm gonna get so many requests to do a video on gas station boner pills. I know it.
Yes, please. Come on, Nick. I want to know how effective they are. Oh, that was fantastic. That was kind of sort of gloriously unhinged, and I fucking loved it. I had no idea that Red Bull was involved in so many sports. I knew they were involved in sports, but I had no idea that they were involved in that many. I had no idea they owned that many teams. That's impressive. Very impressive.